Y'all, you might be like, Sam, why do you look like this? I need this to be the visual representation of how hard these last 2 months have tried to kill me. I've been going through it these last 2 months. These last 2 months took everything out of me. Everything out of me. So this is going to be a multi-part story, actually. It's going to be a multi-part story because there are so many things that have happened these past 2 months that I just have not been able to share with the public, with the people. And now today is finally the time. We're going to start at the beginning, obviously, as all good stories are told, with the fact that my phone, the one that I'm currently recording this on, was broken for all of October, which is a big reason why I didn't make an October update video, because I couldn't make any videos in October because my phone was broken. And that did not help because, you know, from like the beginning of October, like the end of September through like last week, I had no time to do anything. I was so busy. And my phone being broken did not help, which is why this video will be titled something horribly defamatory, like I hate Samsung, I will never buy from Samsung, because it's true, actually, and I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I'm going to anti-influence you into also never buying a Samsung. All the people who are like, oh my god, I would never buy an Android, I'm Apple for life, I think you're weird, but I see your point now, because I was fully Apple from the day I was born. I don't know if you can see it. That's my MacBook back there. Oh, that's my iMac. My MacBook's right here. I had an iPhone since like 2010. So like for like the last like 14 years, I've been locked in with my iPhone. It was me and my iPhone against the world, but I don't like Apple. I think they're weird. I hate that everything with them is so fucking expensive. I hate that they keep making new phones every year even though they really don't need to. I hate that they continue to refuse to make smaller phones. That's another thing, is that because I've had the same iPhone. Let's also make that clear. Since 2010, I've had my iPhone. Well, I had my iPhone 5, and then that one stopped being serviced. Like Apple wouldn't give it service anymore. So then I had to upgrade to the SE, but like the first generation, so like the 2016 iPhone. And those were like the exact same size. They were very tiny. They had a headphone jack. I miss you, headphone jack. And it was the same, like, hand-sized phone. It was, like, genuinely, like, the size of my hand. It was not that big. It fit in every pocket and every bag you can possibly imagine, and it was never a problem. That's another reason that I fucking hate these new phones, is that they're so fucking big. Why the fuck am I carrying a tablet in my pocket? Like, I want something portable, something that I can easily carry and walk around with. So the fact that iPhones just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I know about the iPhone fucking mini. It's not mini enough. It's not mini enough. I'm tired of it. People being like, cause like also when I was like thinking about getting a new phone because my phone was like literally about to explode, like the battery was expanding so fucking bad, I took it to like, or I took myself and my phone to like, I think like the T-Mobile store or whatever, and I was like comparing my phone to like the other iPhones that were available, and like all of them were bigger than my phone because like obviously, and that like really pissed me off because I did not want to. That's the thing, I was unwilling to compromise on. I was not going to get a bigger phone. Cause like once you give them an inch, they will take a mile. Once you're able to like upgrade your phone from like the iPhone 5 size to like the iPhone mini size, and you're just like, oh, it's like half an inch more, it's like not that much. Then what happens when that phone gets discontinued and then you have to upgrade a little half an inch more? It's just going to be a slippery slope, and I'm not willing to go down that path. I refuse to upgrade my phone to a bigger size because fuck you. Actually, no, I don't want that. I'm not gonna give you $800 for a phone that I don't want. Go fuck yourself. So it really pissed me off. This was like maybe 5 years ago, and I'm still really mad about it. When I went to the T-Mobile store and I was like looking at all the phones, and like an associate who, again, that I did not fucking ask to come talk to me. I like am like looking at the phones, and they're like asking me about what I want. I'm like, well, I don't want a bigger phone, so I'm not gonna get any of these phones because I like the size of my phone, and like I don't want any of these phones because they're bigger than the phone that I have. And then he gets all up in my face with a fucking attitude, and he's like, well, Apple's gonna stop servicing your phone anyway, so you just might as well get a new phone. And I said, no, thank you, I'm good, goodbye. And he just like was really all in my face, like telling me that I'm stupid because like, why would I want this old phone? It's none of your fucking business what phone I have and the phone that I pay for. Actually, I'm already in a pissed off mood thinking about this whole situation, so that really did piss me off, because that was also like 2017, 2018, I had that phone for another like 5 years, I still have that phone, and it still works, so how about you shut the fuck up? Oh, that man pissed me off. Why, how dare he speak to me like that? Oh, I hope he got fired. Cause like, it would be one thing if like I asked for his advice on like what phone I should get, and then I was being unreasonable when he provided me like the facts of the situation. I didn't ask him for shit. That's another thing that pisses me off. But we don't got time to get into, like, people talking to me at the store. We don't got time to get into it because I eventually did make the switch to a Samsung, as we've discussed. As you can see from my Stray Kids package back there. And, like, I was so willing to switch to a Samsung for, like, the past 3 years. And, like, that's a big deal because as I have been an iPhone girly since Borf! I have not been able to reconcile the fact that I would be giving that up because Apple is such like ingrained in my life. As you see, I have a MacBook, I have an iMac, I have an iPhone. Like, it is a home connection of devices that I would be giving up. And everything about Apple is just like so specific, like the look of the apps, the look of the layout. Like, I would have to be giving up a lot to switch to Samsung. But as I've said, I didn't want to give Apple any more of my money. I did not like their phone options. And then also, as we know, I am, as you can see, ARMY. And when BTS were Samsung brand ambassadors for the 2021 version, I was like, I fear that is the phone I must be buying. Because also, I have loved a flip phone. Before I had my iPhone, I had a Motorola Pink Razr. Actually, I have my Motorola Pink Razr because I don't lose or break my devices, actually. If she still worked, I would still use her. I love her. I want to go back to her, but we've cut all the fucking 3G towers out of the sky. Pissing me off. I love her. So I love a flip phone. I love a flip phone. I love that they're small and portable. I love that you could take big phone and be like, actually, no. Close it. I don't actually need that big of a phone right now. I can put it in my pocket. So when I saw that Samsung came out with like a 3G flip phone, actually I think Motorola was the first one to come out with like the flip smartphone. I was like, that is my next phone. But because the technology wasn't all the way there yet, there were a lot of people being like reviewing it and being like the hinges are kind of like and the screen is kind of like I was like, I'm gonna wait until the technology advances enough that I can trust in like buying and investing in this product because the phone's already going to be so expensive. So when BTS was like, hey, Samsung, I'm pretty sure it was the Flip 4, they were like, we have a package, you could come buy a nice RB purple phone. I was like, bet, let me do that. But it was really expensive, so I was like, let me hold off. Let me really hold off because, again, I don't want to give up a headphone jack. That was another thing. I did not want a bigger phone. I did not want to give up my headphone jack. I hate having to charge my headphones. Why the fuck am I charging my headphones? That, to me, it's stupid. I should just be able to plug in my headphones and they should just work. Like with a laptop. But no. That's asking for too much, apparently. But then, because as my phone started to die and the battery started to expand and the headphone jack was broken, I actually did pay to replace the headphone jack instead of just buying a new phone because I was really so beholden to the headphone jack. I still miss the headphone jack. I still want the headphone jack to come back. But around that time when I started having to like use my like earbuds, like my wireless earbuds, I was like, okay, perhaps a new phone is on the horizon. But even then, I was like willing to ride with my phone till the end of the fucking line. It was only when the battery got so bad that like I could not turn the phone on. I had to like, someone on Reddit figured it out. You have to like get a hairdryer and heat up the phone so much that it like jump starts the battery to actually turn on. I had to like start doing that to turn on my phone when I was like, we simply have to get a new phone. I can't live like this. This phone's gonna kill me. Then I was like, fine, I'll finally get a new phone. But even at this point, I was like really committed to being like, if I have to get a new phone, I'm going to get the Samsung. And at this point, Stray Kids had come out as like Samsung SLBS brand ambassadors. And they had like a whole package that you could get if you like bought the new Samsung Z Flip 5. And I was like, well, my husband, So Changbin, is so ride or die for Samsung. All the other boys fuck with Apple hard. But Changbin, my man, supports Samsung till the day he dies. And how could I be a more loving and supporting wife but to join him on this journey and switch from Apple to Samsung? I was ready to make that jump for love, for my husband. So despite like already sort of in my mind being like, if I'm going to get a new phone, I'm going to get Samsung for like years because like of BTS. I already got like the BTS like Galaxy Buds like for the 4. Like I bought those like a while ago. I really didn't want to have to give up my phone because at the end of the day, well, I don't need new tech. I don't like new tech. I don't want new tech. So I was really against just getting a new phone in general unless I absolutely had to. But like my phone was like literally dying, so I really did have to. So my phone dies. The package actually was sold out, so I didn't get to buy that. I think my phone died in like August, September, and this package didn't get restocked until October. So I bought it in October. It did not ship until December. So I didn't get it until like right before Christmas last year. And then I set it up. I transfer all my things to my new Samsung Z Flip 5, and I have a jolly good time. Now, because I've never had a phone like this, it took a lot of learning curves. Also, just because I'm switching from an Apple to a Samsung, I had to sacrifice a lot. Not having AirDrop has truly ruined my life. It is absolutely impossible to get files off of my phone onto my MacBook when my phone is no longer an Apple. It is ruining my life. It is stressing me out more than anything in the world because it's so fucking difficult for no good reason. The Samsung, like, S, Share, whatever, it's so unusable. It crashes every time I try to fucking use it. It's absolutely, that's another reason why making videos is so difficult, because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to AirDrop my file from my phone that I filmed it on to my fucking laptop so I can edit it. It's like, I have to plug in my external hard drive and my adapter and then plug that into my phone and then open up a whole new app and then like slowly let it all load and like not click any of the wrong buttons so that it doesn't crash and then like navigate to the file and then drag and drop. It's like a whole fucking process now. But I was willing to make that sacrifice to support my husband because I love him. I love him so much that like on the back of my phone, on my phone case for my flip card case, it is literally Changbin, so that my screen is Changbin. Like he's like, we're so locked in like that. That's another thing that I don't get about this package is that you did not get to choose the phone that came with it. You had to take the 256 gigabyte like storage white, like off-white cream Flip 5, which I did not like because I did not, that's another thing is that I wanted to upgrade my storage like a lot, because I know I go to a lot of concerts, I film a lot of videos, like I needed something with a lot more storage, so I wanted like the 500 one, like minimum, but they wouldn't let you do that. Which I thought was so fucking stupid, because like I'm buying a phone, just let me upgrade the phone in the package. But they wouldn't let you do that. You just take the package as it was. So I didn't really want this phone, but I really wanted an iPhone less, and I needed to support my husband, so I just sucked it up. I got this phone that I didn't really want. And also because the flip card case is weird, because it's like the flip cards, like one side is their name and the other side is their face, but like if you take their face and you put it towards the outside so you could see it like in the case, it doesn't work. Like the NFC chip doesn't work with the phone. You have to put it so their face is facing your phone so that you can't even see their face on the outside of your fucking phone. I think that's weird and stupid. Also, the fucking wireless charger that I bought in this has never worked. I don't know if I'm stupid and I don't know how to use it properly, because it like keeps flashing orange. And in the manual, it says that if it's flashing orange, that it means that like you're using the wrong wire cord, but I'm using the wire cord that came in the box. And I tried to email them about it and they never got back to me. And that's another shitty thing, is that Samsung is not like Apple, where you could just go to like an in-person Apple store and be like, hello Apple, fix this. I don't know what's wrong with this. There's no Samsung stores around here. I have to just remember the next time I go to Los Angeles to go all the way to fucking Glendale. And I'm not gonna fucking remember that. It's so ridiculous. I really hate it. I hate it here. But I put up with all of that. I put up with all of that because I was like, at the end of the day, it's a phone and it works. It's a phone and it works. And the camera is so much better, because I don't know if any of y'all noticed, but a lot of my videos that I was filming, like for the last, how long have I been making videos? 8 years? God. For the last 8 years have all been in 720. And you might be like, Sam, why is none of it in 1080 HP? Because my phone did not film in 1080 HP. So now my videos are fucking actually high quality now, because I have a new phone. So I was willing to make all these sacrifices. But I can admit when I'm wrong. And because I've never had a foldable phone like this, or at least in recent years, I forget that sometimes when you're done using the phone, you need to close. So perhaps a couple times I forgot to close. And perhaps a couple times phone fell from table onto floor. Perhaps a couple times screen went crack, because phone fell off of table, open onto floor. That's on me. I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. This was not an immediate issue though. Like I said, I've had this phone since December. So I've dropped it many times, and I thought it was just resistant. It was fine. Like we had like a tiny little crack at the top of the screen, but like the screen itself had been working fine. I had no real issues until, let's say, like August, September of this year, where it started to like, the screen started to like glitch a little bit in the middle where the hinge was. And I was like, ew, yikes. But it wasn't like anything major. It was just like sometimes in certain lighting, you would see that it was a little discolored. And I was like, that's fine. I can live with that. I lived with a phone that was about to explode. Like, I can live with this. This is no big issue. And also, because it said online, if you wanted to fix it, that, like, it would be covered under warranty for, like, the first year. So I was like, I'm going to, first of all, teach myself to close the phone. That's what I'm going to do. As I know that this is an issue, so I need to know to, like, close the phone so that when it drops, it doesn't drop on the screen. And, like, it doesn't make any sense to repair the phone now when I'm just first seeing this issue if I'm not going to unlearn the problem that's causing this to happen. Like, if I fix the screen but then don't, like, train myself to close the phone and then continue to drop it on the screen, like, open, then, like, we're going to continue to have this problem. So I was going to wait until after I had, like, properly trained myself to close my phone to fix the screen. I thought that made perfect sense. Also, it's my phone. Until I don't even know how this happened. Because you might be like, something science, something elevation. I had been on many flights before this happened. I have genuinely no clue how this happened. I go to Las Vegas to see XG, which we're going to talk about eventually in a second. I land at the Las Vegas airport. I open my phone. My phone had been working perfectly fine up until this point. I open my phone, giant black line across the middle hinge of the screen. Where did that come from? Because it was sitting comfortably in my pocket the entire fucking plane ride. Like, I had not dropped it, I had not squeezed it, I had not exposed it to high temperatures. Like, it was just chilling. I opened my phone. Because also, I had, like, literally just been using this, like, the second before. I close it. Like, maybe a couple minutes later, I open it to do something. Black line across the middle of the screen. No clue how that happened. And then I'm like, oh, that's weird. But I think it's just more of the discoloration. Like, it's just like, oh, it's a black line in the middle of the screen. And then I start hearing when you're opening and closing the hinge, it's like cracking. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. And eventually, the blackness starts to spread. Because it's like a thin black line, and then it starts getting wider and wider and wider. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. And I'm like, this is kind of really bad. Especially because, like I just said, I just landed in Las Vegas. I just left on. Also, I'm doing a solo trip. I am by myself in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it's not like, oh, there's just other people there with phones and I could just tag along with them and it's no problem. I need this phone to like order lifts, to use my ticket for the show, to like navigate around the city. Like if my phone is broken, like I genuinely don't know what I'm gonna do. So I start looking up on Samsung.com. I'm like, how do we fix this, friends? How do we get this done? And they're like, you can either mail it in to us, which I'm not going to do. I need a phone. Or you can like bring it to one of like our walk-in repair centers, and they partner with this company called You Break I Fix, which has a bunch of stores across the country. And I'm like, okay, great. There has to be one in Las Vegas. There's a couple in Las Vegas, none in the city proper, but like I can take an Uber if it's really necessary, if that means that I can fix it that day and just have a working phone. I make an appointment online. The place calls me to confirm, and they're like, actually, we don't do that repair here. No hate to that person or that location, but why the fuck would Samsung put you as a place that I could repair my phone if you can't repair my phone? Crazy. And then they're like, you should call this other location across the city and see if they can fix your phone. And I say, okay. Then I call them and they're like, we could fix your phone, but we don't have your right color. That's another thing I don't get about this, is apparently your screen that, at least to me, does not visually connect at all to the rest of the phone that has the color portion, is different depending on what color phone you have. Also, call me ghetto. I don't care. I fully agree with and support those people driving around like in cars that have like multiple different color parts to them. Like your hood is one color, the rest of your car is another color, your door is one color, the rest of your car is another color, because sometimes finding something in your car's color is just more hassle than it's worth. I would have been very willing to just take a different color if it meant that I could fix my screen. But the guy was like, no, we don't have your color. The earliest we could have it in is Wednesday. I'm going to be back home by Wednesday. So not at all helpful to me. Because at this point, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like a Thursday. It was a Thursday that I flew out to Las Vegas. I was going to be flying back Sunday morning for work. So they were like, the soonest we could have is Wednesday. And I'm like, I'm not from here. So that's not helpful to me at all. And then I asked them like, well, what can I do to make sure that this problem doesn't get worse? And they're like, just don't open and close your screen, because it's going to make it worse. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you mean all the training that I was doing probably exacerbated this issue. I see. Interesting. But that's something that I learned not to do then for that week. So then for the next 5 days, I just live with a broken phone. So what happened was basically the top half of my screen just did not work. Like the bottom half of my screen worked, but the top half, like from the hinge to like the camera, did not work like the touchscreen. Like I couldn't use that top part of my screen. So I was able to work around it because I learned how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And there's like accessibility features on the phone where you can basically like use like a mouse. Like you can drag like a little cursor on the bottom and you can click things at the top of the screen. So that's what I had to end up doing. And it was an incredible inconvenience, an incredible hassle. But I do that for like 5 days. Let's date this as October 3rd, I believe. October 3rd, I believe, was the first Thursday that my phone is broken. Just keep that date in mind. Keep that date in your mind, in your back pocket. October 3rd. October 3rd. I just sort of lived with a broken phone for that entire Las Vegas trip, which is already crazy. Because again, can't stress enough, I am by myself in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I need this phone to safely get around and then get back home. Thankfully, again, I'm very resourceful and I make it home. There's a lot of other things that happened in this Las Vegas trip, but I will explain all that in part 2. I need you to understand that this is the undercurrent of what has been happening these past 2 months to set the stage for all these other things that I had to do on top of it. I get back home. When I'm in Las Vegas, because all of those places were like, we cannot help you, I made an appointment for one of the U-Break iFixes, like, in my hometown, like, the Monday I get back. Or the Monday after I get back, because I couldn't make an appointment on Sunday when I actually got back because they weren't open. I get there. They explain because there's physical damage to the screen that it's not covered under a warranty repair. That's valid. I did drop it. I'm not going to claim that I did it. But then they're like, the person's like, there's a thing called like the flip and fold program, where the first time that you have to replace the screen on your phone, it's half off. It's $200 instead of the $400. The person who I spoke to at the store said that Samsung needs to make that appointment so that it shows up correctly in their system. Because if they were to make the appointment, it doesn't come up with that little promo code, because they can't like put it on themselves, and therefore it won't like give you the discount. You have to pay the full price. And I said, okay, that's so fair. That's so valid. Let me give Samsung a call and see if we can figure this out. And this starts my journey into hell, I guess. Samsung customer service is by far the worst customer service I've ever spoken to in my entire life. And I've talked to a lot of customer service people because I don't want to be a Karen ever, but I'm not a pushover. If a company is like promising and like explaining and like held to an expectation that they're supposed to do something, I'm also going to hold them to that expectation that they're supposed to do something. Obviously, not the people who work there, but like if a company says this is the thing, and I'm like, so this is the thing, and they're like, no, and I'm like, what do you mean no? I'm not just gonna let you tell me whatever the fuck you want, actually. I will speak to your manager. So I'm on the phone. I'm also trying to like message them, what's it called? The chat function on their website, because I'm trying to just talk to anybody as soon as possible. And they said that it would be faster through chat, and it's not. It's actually not. You get connected to an agent, but like the response time is like 5 minutes a message. It takes for fucking ever. So then I'm on the phone for like, I think an hour or two. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but I do have like a screen recording of the call logs of how many times I had to call them and how long we spoke. And it says that my first call was only like 30 minutes, but I swear I was on the phone for like an hour and a half. I think maybe because I used like the store phone, because my phone was like super broken. So just keep in mind that there are other phone calls that are not included in like my personal phone log that I did have to speak to Samsung for that amount of time as well. But I'm on the phone for, I swear, like an hour, 2 hours of them trying to figure out like what the fuck I'm talking about. Because apparently nobody there on the customer service line has ever even heard of this like flip and fold program. Even though when you do make an appointment, like a service repair appointment online for a Galaxy Z Flip 5 or Fold for like a screen repair, it says your device might be eligible for our Galaxy Insurance program, blah, 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 blah. There's a whole page on their website, terms and conditions, blah, 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 blah. And I cannot stress it up. I have read through every single terms and conditions on that page no less than 10 times. Because I'm like, am I stupid? Am I expecting that this like promo is supposed to work for my phone when it's not? But I meet every single fucking eligible criteria on that page. Like, there is no reason that I should not have been getting that promo on their website like it said that I should. And it says specifically on their website, you can get this promo if you bring it into the store for like an in-person repair. You do not have to mail it in to get this repair discount. And I'm like, yeah, bet, because why am I mailing my phone away when this store says that they can fix my phone? They just don't have the promo to like charge me the price that I'm supposed to be charged. The people at U-Break iFix were incredibly kind and understanding. I hate Samsung, and I hope that they're burning in hell. So I call them, and then they're like completely unhelpful. Also because like I get there like right when they open at 11, and like I have to go to work because I thought that it was only going to be like a 2-hour thing. That's what they like quoted me on the phone. It was going to be like a 2-hour repair. So I get there like right when they open, like a little bit before 11, and I thought I could just drop off my phone and like leave and then come back and then go to work. I did not have that time. I had to spend those 2 hours on the phone with Samsung being like, so you know this program that's like publicly available on your website? Yeah, you go read all those terms and conditions because apparently you've never heard about it before. And you need to explain to me why it's not showing up in their system and like the fact that you need to make an appointment. Apparently that's not true because as multiple people, because I talked to many, many, many people over the course of this journey, told me that they can't make appointments, the customer has to make an appointment because it's attached to their account, blah, 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 blah. But then I keep telling them, well, there's something wrong with my account then because it's not showing up when I make an appointment in their system. It's like, this isn't showing up. So like, what's the issue here? I don't know. At this point, this has been 2 months ago. I don't even remember what happened in this conversation because it was so long and arduous. But basically, they were not able to help me. I told the uBreak person that I would be back, and I had to go off to work. Throughout this day at my work, I call and talk to the Samsung customer support people for, I swear, like 4 hours. I'm on the phone with them for 4 hours to figure out what the problem is. Nobody's able to come up with a solution for me. Some people even then, like one person like suggested that I should just upgrade my phone. And I was like, okay, how much would it be to upgrade my phone? Because the 6 had just come out. And they were like, oh, it's only $600. In your mind, if you hear about somebody insisting upon the fact that they want the discounted rate to repair their phone for $200 instead of $400, where do the wires get crossed that you then hear, oh, this person wants to pay an extra $400 then to just get a new phone? What's going on up there that made sense for you to tell me? When you hear me say, I want to spend $200 or I need to spend $200 instead of $400 to fix my phone, do you hear, I want to spend $600 to just get a new phone? Do you think if I had $600 to get a new phone that like this would be a conversation that we're having? Fucking stupid. So basically, the solution that they come up with after hours, I can't stress enough, 4 hours. And that's not just like, oh, a message here and there, like a blah, 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 blah. I'm on the phone for 4 fucking hours to try to figure this out because I need my phone fixed. The solution that they tell me is that I need to call them back in the morning when I go to uBreak iFix in the morning, and one of their representatives will talk to the uBreak iFix people, and the two of them together will figure it out. And I say, okay. Sure. Okay. I also need to make it clear, and along these like 4 hours, they jump me between a bunch of different people, and every single person has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Apparently, there are no notes from my last conversation, and I have to re-explain the situation every single fucking time. And it actually, I will get so worked up and angry if I think about it too long because it still pisses me off. The fact that I have to go through every step of the way because every customer service person that talks to me just assumes that they're going to be the one that fixes this problem. And I'm like, I can't stress enough. You are one of like 30 fucking people that have talked to me. I know that you don't know anything more than the last person. So when I tell you, no, my phone is not covered under a free warranty repair because it has physical damage, you need to just hear me at my words and move on. Because it was the same song and dance with every fucking person. And that's why the calls were so fucking long. Because it's not even just like, oh, the next person we could just pick up and continue talking about the problem. We have to start from the beginning where they're like, give me your name. Give me your phone's IMEI number. Tell me what the problem is. Oh, did you know that you could get a free repair because your phone's still covered under warranty? No, actually I can't because I have physical damage to the phone. Oh, well then you probably should mail it in for repair. The amount of times that they kept telling me I had to mail it in to repair, even though this was the main crux of the issue, is that I refused to mail it in because they also said if you mail it in, you won't get your phone back for 5 to 7 business days. I can't be without my phone for 5 to 7 business days because I only have one phone. I need my one phone to work, and I need it to work quickly. And it says specifically on the website for the like promo repair code that you should be able to bring it into the store and still get that discount. So every single time that they're like, no, you just have to mail it in. You just have to mail it in. What, have you tried mailing it in? I keep insisting to them, I don't want to mail it in because I cannot be without my phone for 5 to 7 business days. You need to figure out why it's not showing up correctly in their system so I can get the discount when I bring it in for a walk-in repair. I have to explain all of that, and that takes like no less than 30 minutes every single time I talk to a new person. Every single time. At some point along this way, I am also probably getting these things out of order because it all just sort of blurs together the amount of people and the amount of times I had to talk to them. At some point, I started trying to insist that like they should further compensate me because obviously, like, this has been like such an incredible inconvenience. Like, if I am mailing it in, I shouldn't have to pay the $200. I should have to pay less than $200 because I should be able to bring it in. Like, you should be further compensating me for this giant inconvenience. Never happened. There was no way for them to be able to do that because Samsung fucking sucks as a company. They suck and they hate their consumers. They hate everybody who gives them money. Because to me, it makes perfect sense that any company that like fucks up this badly, that like instead of being able to bring it in for a walk-in repair like they tell you on their website, like they advertise everywhere that you should be able to do, that's we're not going to spoil it, but we're putting a pin in it. That if a company fucks up that badly, because this is not my fault, this is not my problem, because if it was, somebody should have told me the steps I could have taken to rectify it so that we didn't have to be in this issue. But it just seemed like, oh, it's a system issue. We don't know what the problem is. That if a company fucks up that badly, that they need to then be able to compensate or make this situation right to the consumer in some way. Obviously. That's what makes sense to me. That the company is like, sorry for this major inconvenience. Sorry that we put you on the phone with these people for 4 fucking hours and that there seems to be no solution for like a walk-in repair. Here's some extra money as an apology to make the situation right. But no, Samsung hates their customers, so why would they do that? Why would they do that? But I'm getting ahead of myself. They told me to call them in the morning when I get back to this repair place. I just felt it in my heart and my soul that walking in there was going to not be fruitful. Also because it's clear that like maybe 1 or 2 employees work at the U-Break I fixed that's like the closest to me. And they were like, when I was sitting in there the first day, like on the phone with Samsung for like hours, they had like so many customers and they looked so busy. So I was like, I'm not going to walk in there unless I really have a reason to walk in there. Like there's somebody on the phone who's like, yes, hand the phone over to blah, 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 and I will talk to them. So I sit in my car outside for another 3 hours, just talking to fucking customer service on the phone, being like, somebody told me to call you when I was back here in the morning. Here is the number of like the case number that they told me to give you. Not once during this conversation does this person ask to speak to anyone in the store, ask any single question other than, oh, blah, 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 blah. Also, another thing is that I have to explain to them what like the Galaxy Assurance Flip and Fold program is, and I have to send them the link to the website so many times so that they can then like read over the terms and conditions and be like, oh yeah, I don't know why it's not working. I'm like, that's kind of your whole job, is to figure that out. Go figure it out. So I'm on the phone again with them for another 3 hours. Nothing gets figured out. They give me a whole bunch of other numbers to call. None of the numbers go through. They give me like the number to like their e-commerce department because I'm just like, well, somebody needs to give me more money for this. I shouldn't have to be paying $200 to mail in my phone when I don't need to mail in my phone. And then they're like, well, you should call the e-commerce department. I call the e-commerce department. The phone number doesn't even ring. It just goes beep, 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 beep. And that just gets me off the phone with Samsung. So then I have to call, wait back in the phone queue, talk to another person, explain the whole situation again. And it's a fucking hassle every single time. So I continued to be on the phone. And we do this back and forth for maybe 2 weeks. Like a minimum hour-long conversation every day for, I swear to God, 2 weeks. And even then, I feel like they just start lying to me. They just start lying to me to get me to stop calling them. Because I would be like, well, this is like a big problem. Can you escalate my complaint? And they'd be like, yeah, we'll escalate it. And then we'll figure out what the problem is in the system and we'll get back to you. And then they can't ever tell me when they're going to get back to me. That's another thing, is that like, I think one of the days I called them like a Thursday and they're like, oh, we'll get back to you. And I'll be like, when? And they're like, oh, we don't know. The fuck you mean we don't know? When am I supposed to fucking fix my phone then? So then I call back like that following Monday. And then I'm like, well, they said they were going to escalate my complaint, but like nobody ever got back to me. And then they look at my account and they're like, we don't see any escalations on your account. Cool. Cool. Because at this point, like, I can't stress enough. I was like, for weeks I was talking to them. And I was so worried because I was supposed to go see Zayn back in Las Vegas, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after I was going to see XG. So I was like, I need my phone to be fixed before I leave on another trip to Las Vegas because I need a working phone to exist in a city. Zayn ended up rescheduling that show for reasons that everybody knows. But still, the week after that, I had to go fly out to San Antonio to go see 17. So I was like, I need a working phone by then at least. And I was going to fly out to see 17 on the 30th. So around the 20th, when there are no good solutions to any of their problems, I can't stress enough. Weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks of just calling and talking to the same people and them not being helpful or knowing anything about the situation and me having to re-explain it every single fucking time. What really put the nail in the coffin, though, was the last person that I spoke to, because I was like, I will try to call one more time to see if we could fix the situation. Because also along the way, I had tried to bring my phone to like a different U-Break iFix location to be like, maybe this one location just has a system issue. That other U-Break iFix location could also not figure it out. But I did also call them and they said that there was like a Samsung system issue with the flip and fold program, but that it was fixed. So I was first of all like, so there was a known issue with this program that Samsung never informed me was a thing that they knew about. And then also, it's fixed now. So it should be working? No. I also like uploaded the receipt of like my purchase so that they could verify my warranty like in my account, because I was like one of the things with the flip and fold program was that you had to have purchased it after like July 2023 or something. Actually, I'm going to pull up the terms and conditions because we need to read them together so that you know I'm not fucking stupid like some of these motherfuckers on the phone, because we're going to get to that fucking bitch. I hate her. Oh, I hate her. I hate her and I hope she's dead. The Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Flip 5 FAQ for the Z Screen Repair promo. What do I need to do to qualify for this promotion? You must purchase a Galaxy Z Fold 5 in the US from Samsung or a Samsung authorized distributor prior to July 31st, 2024, and register the device using your My Samsung account. The purchase date will be determined based on the activation date of the device or proof of purchase. So I uploaded like my warranty receipt for the proof of purchase because I did purchase it prior to July of this year. As I just said, I bought it in October. And this was another thing. They were like, well, you didn't buy it from Samsung, but it says Samsung authorized distributor. SLBS is an authorized distributor. So I qualify for all of this. And then it says, how do I get my fold or flip repaired at this discounted repair price for this on this promo? It's simple. I will kill you, Samsung. Start by visiting the support service page and click Start Repair. You will be prompted to log into your Samsung account, find your device under My Product section, click on Request Service, and follow these steps for a service option of your choosing. Can I have my device repaired locally? Absolutely! Follow the steps to create your Samsung account if you haven't already. Enter your Samsung credentials, select your device, and click Request Service. Select Walk-in, enter your zip code, and pick the most convenient location to you. So I did all of that. And then there's like a whole bunch of like terms and conditions at the bottom. It says within 2 years of the date of the qualifying purchase. So if you bought it before July 31st, within those next 2 years. So I bought it in October, and I'm trying to repair it again in October. That's 1 year. Within the 2 years of the qualifying purchase, you will be provided one repair of the interior folding screen. I also would like to note the fact that it says you may pay a price of $200 for the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and $250 for the Galaxy Z Fold 5, and they charged me $250. And I nowhere on that website does it say that like it includes taxes or fees or anything. They just charged me $250 for the repair. Because spoiler alert, my phone is fixed now. But I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page that my phone does qualify for that repair. But these are the things I had to explain to every single fucking person I talked to. Because they were like, oh, well, it says like only for phones bought like prior to 2020. Yeah, I know, I bought it in October of 2023. And it just like every single person who spoke to me just assumed that like I was in the wrong. That's what also really pissed me off, is like every single fucking person that talked to me assumed that like I just was fucking something up. That I have called all of these times and that I was still in the wrong. And I'm sure that they get plenty of Karens in which that is the case. I personally am not stupid though. So I know that I fully qualified for that promotion and that there was something wrong with the Samsung system. And I kept trying to explain that to them. You need to escalate this complaint to somebody who can fix the system so that I could do a walk-in appointment and get it fixed in person. Because then I can get it fixed that day and I don't have to be without my phone for 5 to 7 business days. Going back to what I was saying before, the nail in the coffin is this last person that I spoke to. Because I was like, I'm going to try to call them one more fucking time to see if they can fix it. To see if they can figure out anything for me. If they could figure out if I can do a walk-in appointment, if they can get me a deeper discount for how many fucking times I've had to talk to them and how the problem still isn't fixed. But this fucking cunt, oh my god, that fucking answered the phone. I genuinely hope she's dead. I'm a hater to my core, but this bitch was so fucking rude that I genuinely hope she's dead right now. That is the energy that I am like wholeheartedly, open-heartedly putting into the world, that I hope she's struck by lightning, struck by a car, struck by a truck. I hope that she's dead because she was such a fucking cunt for no fucking reason. She gets on the phone, she automatically has an attitude with me. And I'm like, that's another thing, is that whenever I talk to a new person, like I will maybe like 45 minutes to an hour in of somebody just trying to like fucking argue with me when I know what I'm talking about and it's not providing me any sort of reasonable solution, I will get an attitude. But at the beginning of a phone call with a new person, I don't have an attitude with you. I talk very plainly, very directly, explain the whole situation. I do not have an attitude with you. This fucking bitch keeps cutting me off every single time I try to speak and explain the situation to her. Because she just assumes that I'm wrong. Every single time along the way, she's like, no, you have to blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling her, no, you don't. She kept being like, you have to mail it in. And I was like, no, you don't. Because it says specifically on the website that you can bring it in for a walk-in service. And it's just every single step along the way, she is being so fucking rude. And she's unwilling to like hear anything about what I'm saying. She's unwilling to like believe anything of what I'm saying, because at first she did not even believe that the Galaxy Z Flip like Fold assurance program that I just read to you, that's still up on their public website of Samsung.com, is like a real thing. She was like, I've worked with Samsung for like 8 years. I know all of the problems, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you don't. And I'm willing to send this to you because there have been at least 3 previous people who also did not know what the fuck this program was that I had to, they sent me a text to my phone and I would text them the link to the website so that you can read it for yourself. And she was just so refusing to either listen to me, believe me, or take any proof that she was wrong. Because that's another thing. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I have the website of the documented proof of what I'm talking about. So like, why do you think that I'm just making this up? Do you think I would call this many times to make up a fake promo? What are we doing? Eventually, she stops cutting me off enough that she like goes onto the website and she reads what I'm reading. And then every single thing along the way, every single little terms and conditions, she just thinks that, oh, this is the reason. Obviously, you dumb fucking bitch. Obviously, this is the reason that it's not working because you don't qualify for blah, 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 blah. But like we just fucking said, I actually do qualify for all the things. So she was like, that's another thing, is that she was actually genuinely stupid because she was like, no, it says you had to have bought it prior to July 31st, 2024. And she thought prior meant after. And I'm like, no, prior means before. I bought it before. It's funny now because she was so fucking stupid, but at the time I was so angry. Like, she thought like prior meant after, so she was like, you bought it before July 31st, 2024, and you needed to have bought it prior to, and I'm like, prior to means before. Prior to means before. It's something I can laugh about now because we're so far removed from it, but my god, in the moment I wanted to kill her. If she was an in-person employee, I would have jumped across the desk and like strangled her, because what the fuck are you talking about? Prior to means before. Literacy rates are so low, y'all. We don't know anything anymore. So she tried to argue that prior to did not mean before. She tried to argue that it wasn't 2 years within the qualifying date, and I had to explain the terms and conditions to her, where I was like, no, it says bought prior to, so I bought it before July 31st, and it's within 2 years because we are 1 year out from my purchase date in October. And then she was like, so you have the Z Flip 5? And I was like, yes. And these are all things that we talked about at the beginning of the conversation as well. We are already 45 minutes into this conversation. And then there's like a thing in there where it's like you have to have an FCC number because it's only like Samsung US phones, not like regular Samsung phones. And she's like, and do you have an FCC number? And I said, yes. And she's just having an attitude with every fucking question because she thinks that like I am stupid and like I don't know the actual terms and conditions. Like I haven't read them myself. Like I haven't been in this hell for weeks. So after she confirms that like I'm not lying and this is a real thing that I should be able to do, guess what happens? Guess what happens? Guess what fucking happens after 45 minutes of us literally yelling at each other? Like, I don't raise my voice when I'm like talking to customer service people on the phone, because why would I do that? We're on the phone. But also like I will get an attitude where I'm talking like a little bit fucking rude like I am right now, but I'm not gonna like start yelling at you. Because why would I do that? We are yelling on the phone. I am yelling at her because she keeps fucking cutting me off. That's another thing. It's like, I could understand, actually no, because she was a cunt. I could swallow the disrespect if she was letting me speak, but she wasn't. She was just assuming that I was wrong and I didn't know anything. So guess what happens? Once she finishes reading the terms and conditions and she realizes that I'm right, the call fucking disconnects. That's when I start crying. Because I can't do this. I cannot. Because what do you mean you're shown your stupidity right in your face and you're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I made an ass of myself. Click. Because how dare you be so fucking rude and disrespectful? And so boldly wrong. Like, I would get it if, like, I was being a cunt for no reason and, like, I was in the wrong just making your day and your whole life more miserable. But, like, I was fully in the right. And I still am fully in the right. So the fact that you then were in my ear yelling at me that I was wrong and that you just knew better because you've worked for the company for blah, 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 blah. You're a cunt. Hope you're dead. But because I had to text her that link, I had her number to connect to her. And I said, the call disconnected, call me back. because you're not getting out of it that easy, bitch. You're gonna call me back and we're gonna finish this phone call, actually. And then she's like, oh, sorry, we lost power, we disconnected, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. And then she suddenly had a much better attitude because she realized that she was in the fucking wrong. And even after all of this, there was no solution. Because something that a lot of these people had told me is that they could not make an appointment on my behalf. They had no idea what the problem was. They said it was a problem with the U-Break-I-Fix system. And then even then I tried to call like the U-Break-I-Fix customer service. Somehow worse than Samsung. They don't even have a customer service person to talk to. You could talk to like the local like agencies, like the franchises across the country, but they don't have like a hub for like tech support within like their website making system. There's no way for you to talk to somebody. It was so funny though, because I called like the phone tree like twice. I called them once and they connected me to, I told them that I had a problem with like my Samsung phone, and then they connected me to the Samsung Care department. I don't have Samsung Care. That's another thing though, is that like the Samsung people, when they're trying to help you, don't believe when you tell them, you cannot help me, we don't need to be on this phone call. Because I talked to the Samsung Care person and I was like, well, I don't have Samsung Care, so we don't need to be on this phone call. And then he was like, oh, well, no, tell me the situation, maybe I can help. At the end of the phone call, he was like, oh, no, yeah, I can't help. That's what I fucking said at the beginning of this phone call, because I don't have Samsung Care. So why am I talking to the Samsung Care department? You can't help me. Because what are you gonna do? Retransfer me to the fucking customer service people that I've been talking to for the past 2 weeks? Shut up! Absolutely ridiculous. Because I even came at him with like a very joking tone. I was like, I don't know why they transfer me to you. I don't have Samsung Care. So you're not gonna be any help to me. So then I explained the situation to him and he's like, yeah, I can't help you. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. So then I called the U-Break-I-Fix people again. And then I get to the phone tree, and then I try to explain the situation to the phone tree person, and she's like, okay, I'll transfer you to U-Break-I-Fix, which is so weird, because that's who I thought I called. And then she transfers me, and it just takes me to the back, like the beginning of the phone tree again. I simply had to laugh. Because what the fuck are we doing, actually? So then I hang up the phone, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I have to give up at this point. They've broken my spirit down. I have to give up. Because I tried, y'all, for literally, for 2 weeks. From the 3rd to like the 20th, I tried so hard to fucking figure this out so I could do an in-person repair. First of all, that's another thing. I'm a very stubborn person, but I also am I'm a person based on principles. So like, could I have paid the $400 to fix my phone in person? Yes. But should I have had to? Absolutely not. Not when Samsung themselves is saying, you only have to pay $200. There's no reason that should have happened. Now that I have more strength in my body, though, I actually might go back into the Lion's Den and fight them on that $50 that they charged me. Because they weren't supposed to charge me $50. They're supposed to charge me $200 for my phone and then $250 for the Fold. So I might go back in and fight them for that $50. Because I want that $50. It's also my fucking birthday. Also, the day that this video comes out is gonna be my birthday. So I think as a nice birthday gift from Samsung, they need to run back my money. So I did a lot of back and forth. That's the point. I did a lot of back and forth. I talked to them for days upon days. Like, I didn't talk to them every day because some of the phone calls would end with them being like, we will get back to you. Like, we're escalating your complaint. We'll get back to you in 48 to 72 hours. That was another crazy thing, is that before I talked to that last bitch, I talked to a guy and I was like, they told me that they were getting back to me in 48 to 72 hours and then nobody did. And then they were like, oh yeah, we do see this on your account. Nobody got back to you though, and we don't know why. What do you mean you don't know why? Figure out why. I just think it's so crazy that, like, I don't know, just seemed to be an acceptable answer from these customer service people, because I'm like, you're supposed to figure that out. That's kind of your job, is that you figure it out. Like, there needs to be, it's obviously just like an issue within like the structure of the customer service people within Samsung, because that's another thing, is that I tried to escalate my complaint so many times to be like, can I talk to somebody else? Can I talk to somebody above you? No, apparently they don't have a complaints department. Because I tried to talk to the complaints department so many times. Because there has to be some sort of like retention complaints department where they're like, oh, people have an issue with our company. In order to like protect our brand and our image and retain customers, we will have a department that like manages all of the bads. All of the bad things that we're doing. They don't have a complaints department, which I think just says so much about that company and about how horrible they are, that they don't even have a department to help manage complaints. So they don't have a complaints department. You could not get a hold of the e-commerce department. Nobody ever escalated my complaint and ever got it solved or figured out anywhere at any time. So as far as I know, still to this day, the like Galaxy Z Assurance program, it's still on their website, but it does not work, at least personally for me. I don't know if it was an issue with my account. They were never able to figure that out for me, so I don't know. So eventually, I caved. after not getting anything that I wanted because I was hopeful that they said 5 to 7 business days. I had to be on a plane to San Antonio on the 30th. That if I dropped my phone off on the 23rd, I think it was like the 22nd or the 23rd of October, then I would get it back in 5 to 7 business days so I would have it in San Antonio. I guess I was just too hopeful. I was too hopeful because first of all, they have you bring it to, I think, like a FedEx or a UPS, I think UPS, and they don't tell you to like bring anything with the phone. So I just give my phone to the person and like I show them like the QR code and everything. That's supposed to be like a free like overnight shipping. That's the thing. It's supposed to be overnight shipped, and I brought it in before like their cutoff time for overnight shipping. So I give it to her, and she, like the lady, she just takes like my full phone, no box, no nothing, puts it in one of those like padded bubble mailers, drops it in, seals it, and like puts it in the back. A phone in a bubble mailer. That was already crazy. That was my first red flag. But then I checked the tracking. Apparently, it did not get overnighted, which is crazy because I did not miss the cutoff time. I dropped it off at like 11 a.m. and the cutoff time was 3 p.m. So it should have been overnighted and it should have gotten to Texas like that morning. It did not. It showed up the next day, except I checked the tracking and it said, because it was like, I dropped it off I think on like a Monday and it didn't get there until like Wednesday. And then it said in the like notes, could not be delivered because business was closed. At 9 a.m. on a Wednesday, the Samsung business was closed. At 9 a.m. on a Wednesday, it was just closed and they couldn't take my phone. So then they couldn't even deliver it that day. They delivered it on Thursday. So then on Thursday, it said that it had been delivered, but in the Samsung system, it did not get there into their system until that Friday. So I was not getting my phone back in time for San Antonio, actually, because it was like 5 to 7 business days from the day that they get it. So yeah, so I didn't get it back for San Antonio.
Hello, this is Editing Sam because I forgot that I put a pin in something. One of the worst things, like one of the biggest slaps in the face, is when I did eventually ship it off. I get this like little like confirmation email being like, oh yeah, we got your phone for repair. And guess what it says on the little sidebar of that email? It says, did you know that you can conveniently and easily bring your phone into one of our stores for a walk-in repair? No! I never thought of that!
They also provided zero updates along this process. They kept being like, oh, track your service, track your service. It kept saying that my phone had like arrived and was processing until the phone was fixed and shipped back to me. Like there was never a single update about like, oh, going in for repair, oh, diagnosed with blah, 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 or like being shipped, like being prepared for shipping back. Like it just said processing for like a whole week. And then eventually I got an email being like, it's being shipped back to you. Eventually I did get my phone back. And I did end up having to pay $250 because at that point I just didn't care. Because when you were making it like online for like shipping, it just said that it was $250 and I didn't have it in me to argue with Samsung anymore because I just needed my phone fixed. Because again, I have been using my broken phone with like half of the screen for those like 3 weeks. From like I dropped it off at like the 20th or the 21st. It had been broken since the 3rd. So for 3 weeks, I have just been using my broken phone. And now, like I said before, I did not have another phone. Thankfully, I had a family member who had an old phone that I could use. So I had to, that's another thing, is that I really wanted, because as I mentioned before, I got barricade for San Antonio. And I couldn't even use my nice phone to take good videos of my fucking barricade. I'm so upset. Still, I hate Samsung. I hate them, and I hate that they did this to me. And I hope that they burn. And I hope that they never get a single other customer again, and I hope that their company goes bankrupt. Because how is your company so poorly managed that your customer service department is a joke? That if somebody actually has an issue and there's nobody for them to turn to, there's no chain of command in order to fix bigger issues, that just like if there's an issue, it goes unaddressed. It is absolutely a horribly run company. When they gave me an email to be like, rate your service, I gave them 0 stars, wrote a full comment about how horrible it was. Nobody's ever gotten back to me to follow up with this, and therefore I hope this company crumbles. I was like so pro Samsung before all of this happened because I really do like this phone. That's another thing, is that I don't want to give up my flip phone, having a flip phone is very nice. I really do like having a flip smartphone. If I were to get a new phone, it would have to simply, first of all, it would have to not be bought through Samsung. I think if I bought it through like a Best Buy or like my phone carrier or whatever, it would be fine. That was another thing that kept pissing me off, is that they would be like, oh, well, like your phone carrier could give you like a loaner phone while your phone is being like repaired. I have Mint Mobile. Ryan Reynolds is not going to give me a flip phone while my phone is being repaired. Good. Nice try though. Nice try. So I think if you got like a Samsung through like a third party that actually has good customer service, like a Best Buy or something, you would be a lot better off than I was. But Samsung themselves, if you're dealing with just Samsung themselves, don't do it. It's not worth it. It would actually, it would be so bad for your mental health, because it ruined me, actually. Those 3 weeks were absolute hell. Being on the phone with them for hours and just talking to tens of people, dozens of people that just had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. I did not get my phone back until after I got back from San Antonio, before I went to C17 in LA. So thankfully I did have this phone for LA, but that meant that I did not get my phone back until November 7th. November 7th is when I got my phone back. So for over a month, I did not have a working phone. Over a month, because Samsung is that incompetent and unable to do anything correct or helpful at all. So let this just be a cautionary tale. Can this lighting fucking figure it out? Let this be a cautionary tale. If you're thinking about making the switch from Apple to Samsung, don't do it. Just don't do it. Because on top of all of this, it has been so hard to switch from Apple to Samsung. Just like the layout, learning the new layout, learning the new emojis, that was crazy. Learning the new emojis alone was already fucking insane. Because you have the Samsung emojis, which look completely different than the Google emojis. And why are there two fucking messaging apps on the Samsung phones? Because I want to use Samsung messages because I want to look at the Samsung emojis. But the Google messages has all of like the good features of like the super long text messages, because the Samsung messages will like cap you at a certain amount of characters, which I think is crazy in 2024 to have character limits on your text messages. Figure it out. But apparently it's because they're trying to push Google Messages. And Google Messages does have like all the nice features. You could like reply with, you could do like little reactions, you could reply to messages, or no, you can't reply to messages like you can with Apple, which I think is lame. Figure that out. And you could send like super long messages, and you could do the RCS and blah, 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 blah. But then you have to look at the Google emojis, and I think Google emojis are so fucking ugly, so I don't use that. I use the Samsung messages. But like learning the emojis was like, it took me like a genuine like 6-month learning curve to like figure that out. Because like, it sounds silly, but like genuinely emojis are a form of like non-word language, like a hieroglyphics. Like, the different looks of the same emojis send different messages. So learning which emojis I need to now be sending to convey the same like message, because they look different on my phone versus whoever's phone I'm sending them to, it took like 6 months to be able to get used to these new emojis. So there was already so much that I gave up by switching from Apple to Samsung to be treated so poorly by Samsung customer service. I'm simply never giving Samsung a single dollar of my dime. I'm not. I refuse. At this point, because I hate Apple and I hate Samsung, I'm gonna get like a Motorola Razr. I don't know. I'll get a fucking Google Pixel. Like, I don't care. At this point, I'm not giving either of these companies my money because I hate them all. In theory, Apple hasn't really done anything to me. Apple has been very like kind and understanding and like helpful, actually. My God, can this lighting fucking figure it out if it's gonna be bright or dark? So if you're like happy with your Apple and you're thinking, maybe I want to get a Samsung, no you don't. No you don't actually. No you don't, because their company has the worst customer service you have ever dealt with. You like being able to just go into an Apple store and have your things be fixed, don't you? Doesn't that sound so nice and convenient? And have people there who actually know what the fuck is wrong and how to help you? Wouldn't that be nice? You don't get that with Samsung. You actually get people yelling at you, being so fucking rude to you, nobody who knows a single thing about their company or their promotions or anything about your situation, having to re-explain your situation, having to be on the phone for hours. This is also the phone, oh my God, the phone log. Let's insert the phone log here, so that you know I'm not lying when I had to be on the phone for so fucking long. This is not including like the emails or like the chats that I had to do. This is not including all of like the different phones that I called from whose call logs I don't have. Like, it was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. When I do my part 2 of my October recap, just know that this was the undercurrent that was going along with it. That alongside everything that I had to do for XG and 17, my phone was broken. I did not have a working phone. So, I hate you, Samsung. I hate you, Samsung. I hope that your company bursts to the ground. I hope that these ridiculous tariffs that are going to ruin our economy hit you the hardest, and that your entire user base here crumbles. Because I will prey on Samsung's downfall until the day I die because of what they've done to me. So, if you can take one thing away from this, is that don't ever call Samsung customer service. They're fucking useless. But hopefully I'm free from them forever and always, because this phone, if it breaks again, I'm just getting a new phone. I'm not giving them a single dollar anymore. I'm done. But yeah, that was a big thing that happened in October. Such a big thing that it had to be its own dedicated video. And like I said, the day that this is coming out is my birthday. So wish me happy birthday. I don't know. As you can see, I've been going through it. But now I am good. Now we're in December, and it's my birthday, and I'm going to be having a good time. But for October, I was not having a good time. I was having a very bad time in October. Any hoozles, I hope you all had a good October. It's 2 months past now, but I hope you had a good October. I hope that you never have to talk to Samsung customer service. Bless your soul. I really hope that you never have to, because my God, I would only wish that upon my worst enemy. I would only wish that upon that fucking bitch who I talked to over the phone. Because, I hate her. Okay. Eventually my part 2 will come soon, but as I am in the midst of my birthday week, who knows when that will come? Who knows when I will be of sound mind and body to film and edit another video? Today was the only day that I had time. But yeah, I hope that you all have a wonderful December. A wonderful me birthday week. As a 365 party girl, all I want for anybody who watches this video is to 1, go out and party in celebration of me. And also 2, to never, ever, ever have to talk to Samsung customer service ever in your life.